I'll never forget this moment when I was in public and I was watching this very large family with very well-behaved kids, and everything in me wanted to go up and ask, like, what are you doing? How are your kids so well-behaved in public? And then, like, I had seen them in another spot in the store and the mom was using fear. And now looking back, hindsight 2020, after becoming a parenting coach and going to school for it, I'm so glad I didn't stop and ask her, because that's not the way I want to show up as a parent. I don't want my child just to comply with me out of fear, do what they should do or supposed to do purely out of fear. I want them to just be good, loving, compassionate, empathetic human beings, because that is who they are in their soul. Because I am bringing out and helping them nurture the parts of them that are really good and beautiful, and also helping to lift up the other parts that are a bit more of a challenge. And so it's my job as a parent to be there for my kids in that way. I have a friend who woke up from a nap and needed to join me. But anyhow, so the very first thing that I am doing is understanding attachment. I want to understand what my attachment was with my parents. I also want to understand what a secure attachment is, what that looks like, and what I can be doing on a daily basis to ensure that I'm giving my child a secure attachment. Okay, number 2, I have my notes over here so I don't miss anything. Okay, number 2 is healing your nervous system. So for me in the beginning, I had no idea about nervous system or anything. I actually just started going to chiropractic care when I was pregnant with my second, because I was having some migraines. And it just led me into this beautiful world of understanding the nervous system. And then when I went to school, all the pieces came together. And if I am not nurturing and pouring back into my nervous system, if I'm not healing the parts of it that are really, really dysregulated, I cannot give my child true calm. I can't calm them down. I can't be there for them because I am in such a dysregulated state. So I think it is vital to learn about your nervous system and also begin working on your nervous system healing journey. There are resources out there. There's tons of things you can do. I've talked about this in so many videos, but one of the first things I would do is somatics. I love somatics. I do that almost every day. That was a huge part of my journey. The other thing is chiropractic care, and really just starting to tune in to your body. So number 3 is knowing brain development. So let's understand how the brain develops, about when it develops, and then also understanding the I'm going to say the brain differences that can happen. For instance, with ADHD, I did not realize that children with ADHD, they're typically 2 to 3 years behind within their prefrontal cortex. That means the area of their brain that is impulses and impulse control. So if my child, which my oldest has not been diagnosed, but definitely hits all the wickets for it. My husband also has ADHD. So it would not surprise me, but I treat her as if she does. And I know that her impulses are very, very immature, but it can be confusing. This is why you have to know brain development and brain science, because she's incredibly intelligent, incredibly smart. She knows a lot. She knows a lot about, don't touch that because it's gonna knock it over. She's very, very intelligent, very smart. And so that part of the brain is kind of overdeveloped. And the prefrontal cortex, which is that front part, is underdeveloped. And so it's helping her find a way to meet those two things in the middle. But it's not even just that. It's things like knowing that a child needs full regulation until they're 7 years old. Okay, 7 years old, which just blew my mind. Okay, let me take an intermission here. Okay, magically she's gone again. She wanted to watch a movie. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. So number 4 is learning emotional intelligence. I think that we are very aware from things like Instagram and really anywhere, learning about your emotions, understanding what's going on for you emotionally is really important. But it's not just as simple as just like, yeah, I am feeling mad or I'm feeling sad. Like, what is going on for you physiologically? Like, that's the first step to finding safety within your body. So, for me, if I were to go back and do things, this would be the next step, but I would begin with myself. I wouldn't necessarily begin with my kiddos. Like, I would start expressing what I'm feeling to my kids. And that's what I did in the beginning. You know, my kids, I'm being a little off. Maybe I'm a little frustrated. Maybe I'm short and unkind, right? And I could say to my kids, hey, I am feeling annoyed right now and I'm needing space. Letting them know what's going on for you when you're making the facial expressions and the body language is really tense. And like right now in this video, I'm really excited. So I'm kind of talking fast, you know, I'm not so much in that flow state, that calm parasympathetic. I'm a little more, you know, let's go because I'm excited and that's totally okay and that's beautiful. But without explaining to my child what's going on for me, there's a lot of questions. And so a lot of parents is just really uncomfortable because not only do they not understand what's going on with them, but they were never taught. They were never told. Their mom was either perfectly happy all the time or she was never happy all the time and they didn't know why. So this is a huge exercise of practice. And then you can start interacting with your child in that way and saying, hey, what's going on for you right now? I can see that you're spitting, you're yelling, you're hitting. What is going on for you right now? Without making judgments and saying you're mad, you're angry, you know, letting them come to you. And through watching you process through things, they are going to be able to have language and words. Okay, I actually need to show you my safe space posters. I'm like gonna interrupt this whole thing. This is the feelings chart, and then this is the needs. I actually, right now, I'm using this in homeschool with my kids, but we typically use this when we have really big feelings. You can get both of these for free just by commenting safe below, and I will send you the link for these. But these have been a game changer in helping not only me identify what's going on with me, let's be honest, but helping my child to not only describe what they are feeling and have actual pictures to go along with it. My kids, my oldest actually, my 4-year-old, picked out all these pictures. So it's coming from a kid's brain, right? Like it's coming from her. And then with the needs, see if I can get out of the sun, this is a great way to help your child to start identifying, what am I needing? I'm feeling this feeling, and what am I needing? Now, I just want you to know, this is not complete. Like this is not all the feelings and all the needs that have ever existed. There are so many of them, but these are some of the most common that I find. Kids, both through my coaching practice and then also my own kids, these are just some of the most common. So don't forget to comment safe below, and then you can get these for free. Yeah, be able to help your child identify what they're feeling and then really moving into now getting down to what they're needing, which leads me to my next thing, which is nonviolent communication. We need to understand the feelings and the needs to be able to effectively communicate with everybody around us. This goes for the workplace. This goes with a spouse, with a friend. This isn't just for hard conversations either, right? Like these are for the beautiful conversations, the ones that need to be had, that need to be deep. This is how we create deep connection, because we are able to share with another human being our inner world. We're able to give that to them in a pretty package without any questions. And that is such a gift to be able to give another human being. Okay, two more things. So number 6 is going to be befriending anger. If you are new here, I really battled with postpartum rage and anger, and I was afraid of it. I was afraid of who I would become when I felt the rage in my chest. When I felt like I was just going to scream at the top of my lungs, I was scared. I was scared of the feeling. And when I started to work through all of this, I started, integrating the somatics and putting together the pieces of why am I doing this and what is triggering me and what are the sensations going on in my body, I began to calm down. I began to not fear myself anymore. And that was honestly the most beautiful part of the process for me, because I was not stuck in anger is bad. I no longer looked at anger or rage as something that was bad. It was primal. It was to keep me safe. You know, I needed to be safe. My brain needed safety. My heart needed safety. My body needed safety. And the only way to get safety in my not logical brain was to just rage and yell, and maybe everybody would stop crying and needing me, right? But no, instead, let's befriend it. Let's actually let's look at it as like warning signs or red flags, and let's use that as kind of like oh, hey, I need to go inward. I need to tap inward so I can effectively be there for my entire family. Because as cliche as it is to say, you know, we need self-care as moms, we need to spend time for ourselves. I mean, yes, that's true, but it's not just like doing our nails. That's not self-care in my world. Self-care is going so deep within your body, having such deep connection with the self that you are able to just pour into everybody else. So I don't know if you could tell, I can like sit here and talk about befriending anger for hours, but I've done tons of videos on rage and anger. So I'll link those below, and I'll probably link one up here as well. Okay, the very last thing is to engage in play. Connecting with our children is going to help them to know how to interact in the real world. This is where we can use story and even like little dolls and figures to help them to learn how to behave. You know, if you think about it, when they read a book or when they, you know, watch a show, they will, you know, put in these, I call them like hidden messages for kids on how to handle something the right way. Imagine if we did that, but we tailored it to our kids. There's instant connection there. There's instant understanding there. And that's what our kids need. Play does not only help your child and you to connect, like that's just one form of connection. Play, when you integrate it into really hard moments, into teaching, into lesson, I mean, it just changes everything. It really cements it in their brain, and it helps them to understand because the story and the play is tailored to them. So with all of this being said, you're probably like, okay, hey, I clicked on this video to see how to raise resilient, good human beings, and you're just talking all about the parent. That's because that's where it starts, and everything is going to flow outward from there. I am a parenting coach, but I do not tell you how to modify behavior. That is up to you. You know your child best. My job is to help you to tune into your body, trust your intuition, trust your gut, and to know your child so well that you can make a plan and you can show up in the way that they need to help them to become their best selves. And that is why I think that parents need to stop focusing so much and being so heavy on the discipline and the punishment and all of that. And let's more look into ourselves. Let's just model and let's just show up. And that is going to be the biggest lesson and the biggest teacher that our kids need, especially under age 3. Subconscious is formed just by existing. Under age 7, kids are learning 100% co-regulation with their parent, okay? So it is so important for us to be pouring into ourselves, to be giving our best selves to our kids, because I believe at that point, we are going to be able to raise these good, loving, resilient children because they have such a strong foundation. And that's where the beauty lies. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. If you are not subscribed already, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And as always, if you have any questions, if you want to know a parenting something specific that happened, that is what my email is for, which I will leave that linked below as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.